So what was your motivation to look into specialty coffee? How did you start?
I just wanted to know the how I can make coffee better from the beginning
Hmm.
to now. It's
And
same motivation for me. I'm always thinking about it, how I can make coffee better. Because uh, my coffee life starts at the hospital when maybe 8 years ago, maybe 2012, 9 years ago. I was in the hospital because I got the diabetes.
Mhm.
So, and I Googled what can I drink uh, for my health, or is there any drinks without sugar?
Mhm.
Uh, I just wanted to know. And Google taught me coffee. So
So
I went
Google
to
told you.
the yes, yes. So I went to the coffee shops in my town and I bought everything: dripper, server, kettle, and grinder, and the coffee beans. And I got a lecture in the shop. But after buying everything and in the hospital, I tried to brew coffee myself.
Mhm.
But that first, my coffee was really terrible,
Mhm.
really bad taste. And I got a feeling, why why is this coffee really bad taste? In the coffee shop, I got a lecture from barista, and he told me everything. And I think uh, I tried same
Mhm.
same blow like barista, but the taste is totally different. What is the factor to make good coffee or bad coffee?
Mhm.
And that is really interesting for me. So I I came into this
Mhm. So
industry.
by getting coffee which was not really
Mm,
very pleasurable for you, you started to make it better and find out
mm,
how you can do it. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
But I know that feeling. I had the same start here. I got bad coffee and I wanted to make it
Mm,
better.
yeah.
Okay, so let's move on a little bit. What do you gain out of championships? Because
Mm.
that is.
uh, what I gain is the first, of course, deep insight of coffee.
Mhm.
Yeah, when we compete the championships or competition, we have to face with the coffee we use. So we can we can find something about coffee or roasting or brewing or espresso or everything, like a cup
Mhm.
or everything. So the first thing is deep insight about coffee, and second is I don't know about the coffee. That is important for me. So when we do a barista in our coffee shops every day, sometimes we feel we know everything about coffee, but when we compete or when we prepare for competition, we find sometimes we find how we don't know anything about coffee, you know.
Yes,
so
we think we know, but
so
we don't.
yeah, yes. So I got more interest or I got more motivation to keep working hard in this industry. That is what I gain from championships. And the last thing is, I think you also feel kind of this, I think friendship all over the world.
Yeah.
When we compete championship, even in domestic, even in Japan, I could make really many friends in this industry and many customers, or many people in this industry. That is most important thing we can gain from competition. It is like you and me.
Yeah. It's so you say from competition, it's on the one hand you get more knowledge about coffee, and also the knowledge that we actually don't know coffee. This insight again and again and again. And also on the one side, the professional network you can gain from those competitions, but also on a personal level, those friendships happening all over the world. I wouldn't know you without the competitions. Yeah. Okay, thank you. On the internet, I saw that you started to offer ready-made coffees for supermarkets. What is the philosophy behind it, or is it the same probably as before?
We are trying to provide the diversity of the coffee for people. We don't sell coffee, actually. It is how to say, especially the people in specialty coffee industry, they think who buy the coffee in the supermarket is not good thing. But I don't think so. Anyway, we are trying to provide the diversity of the coffee for people, and because in the supermarkets, especially in Japan, there are so many coffees, ready-made coffees in the shelf, but almost every coffees are really cheap, $1 or at most $3 or $4 per 1 liter. But our coffee products is $10 per 1 liter. So really expensive. So people might think when they find our product in the shelf in the supermarket, maybe they think it is too expensive or it is very weird, because they think coffee is cheap drink. Especially in Japan, coffee is really cheap.
I think everywhere.
But yeah, yeah. So to raise the awareness for coffee, it is necessary to let people know there are so many expensive coffee in the world. But people in the supermarket, or people who go to supermarket to buy coffee, they don't know, or they don't go to the specialty coffee shops, or like my coffee shop, Philocophia or other coffee. So I thought, if we want to let people know there are so many good quality coffee or expensive coffee in the world, I just very easy to sell our products in the supermarket, because they only go to supermarket.
Make it accessible for them.
But Actually, it is really difficult because nobody think our product is, how to say, people don't buy because too expensive. But actually, our product is really popular in the supermarkets now.
So your idea works. Okay, so thank you for this. And you also have another project. So can this be transferred to your other project where you do quality takeaway coffee for a Japanese supermarket chain? Because I saw those pictures on Instagram where people go with specialty coffee in a coffee to go cup.
Family Mart.
Yes,
the convenience store.
Yes, and there.
Yeah.
I've been to Japan and they are everywhere. Family Mart is everywhere. You find them on every corner.
Yes.
All over Japan.
Yeah, Family Mart is one of the biggest convenience store in the Japan. There are over 10,000 stores in Japan.
Amazing.
Wow. Yes, amazing. My job is to improve their coffee quality, takeaway coffee. I chose green bean and consult how to roast them and give some advice for how to blend. And actually, my biggest work is modify their recipe for machine. I had been working to make new recipe for them last year, the 1 year. It is like a competition.
But you are master of recipes.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe from this May, people can enjoy the coffee with my recipe everywhere.
In all,
yeah, but it was really difficult. All stores.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. This work is really difficult for me because it is totally different from specialty coffee industry, you know. Especially in Japan, almost everyone think coffee is bitter and strong, or coffee should be. Yeah, so I need to change my mind to make the good recipe. It was really difficult. At the same time, it is really important work for specialty coffee industry, I think, to raise the bottom. I need to let people know what is a good taste or what is a bad taste for consumers. So I think my work is good. Sometimes, people say it is not good for specialty coffee industry. Like I work for them, a commercial coffee industry, because I'm a kind of ambassador of specialty coffee. But I don't think so, and you also don't think so.
No, and I totally understand because we know in specialty coffee we deal with a very high, as you said before, for the coffee you sell in the supermarkets, we focus on high quality products or the high quality agricultural product and want to make that possible to drink for everybody. That's the one thing. But then there is, as you said, there is the people who expect bitter, who expect dark, who expect being woken up by the taste of a coffee and not by the good taste. And to kind of, if I may use the word, educate people that who like this coffee which is bitter. This is very, very hard work to show them what is good flavor in coffee. And then to get this good flavor out of a mass product like in Family Mart. I think this is a challenge, and I really have the deepest respect that you do that. And yes, you are ambassador for specialty coffee. You are the one of the yes lighthouses in filter brewing, and even because of that, it's so important that people like you also do this to get supermarket coffee much better, because that's what we want, make coffee better. Probably even in the hospital, the coffee is already better. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Well, you already said there are many beautiful memories in coffee. So can you share one of those beautiful coffee moments with us? I think we have plenty of them.
Yeah. As you said, there are so many beautiful moments in my life, but I think the most beautiful coffee time was in Dublin, but not in the competition. For me, the most beautiful time was the morning coffee with my wife after winning the WBRC. Yeah, actually, I stayed in Dublin with my wife for a few days, but every day was for competition. We don't time to enjoy Dublin or city, so I spent every time for competition. But after winning, finally I could spend the time for my wife. So that was really good moment, good memory for me.
Thank you for sharing this. It's good to hear that actually in the competition there is a lot of focus on the competition, but all those emotional things happening around a competition, no matter is it a national competition or is it a regional or is it the world competition, all these emotional things which happen to you around there, and then the moments you can share with your close friends or family, that's just a special thing about everything. Yes, thank you for that. And it's a pity, I love chatting with you, but we are moving to our last question already. Well, actually the last question on the list. Is there something you want to say to the Austrian coffee community, the Austrian coffee scene?
I looked into the coffee scene in Austria, and I could find so many beautiful cafes like Cafe Zaha.
Zaha?
Zaha.
Zaha, yes.
Yeah, yes. Or Central Cafe Mozart, or anyway, there are so many beautiful cafes, and I got the majestic impression. Really beautiful. And at the same time, I found it seems similar to Japan, because in Japan there are so many traditional cafes in the town, and to be honest, the coffees are not specialty, really dark and strong. So I felt similar to Japan, between Austria and Japan. But I really hope I could visit cafes in Austria. Really beautiful. I want to ask you, how is the coffee scene or specialty coffee in Austria? Is it already popular or not?
It's getting there. And I can pick up what you said, because when I visited Japan, I saw two types of coffee shops. There was the old-fashioned coffee shop where, well, as you say, very dark roast, very strong bitter flavor notes in the cup. And they do a lot of meals around coffee. And the cake in Japan, pancake sometimes is much more important. I got the impression than the coffee. And but that's the traditional
True,
Japanese
that's
coffee
true.
shop. And then you find specialty coffee
Yes.
shops like Unlimited Coffee in Tokyo, or Philocophea, or Kurasu, or Mameya, a very special shop.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
they are completely different. They focus on everything, only the coffee. And that's what I also see in Austria happening. There's a lot of micro roasteries, and there's the traditional coffee shops. And what I would like to see is that those two scenes start to merge a little bit. That the traditional coffee shops get a little bit of the flavor profile of the newer coffee shops, and that the newer coffee shops, the new industry, the third wave coffee, gets a little bit of the flair of these old traditional coffee houses, as you said, majestic, big rooms. So I would like to see this merging. That would be a very beautiful next step. But you asked if there is a scene in coffee, in specialty coffee, and yes, there is, and it's spreading from east to west in Austria, and it's getting more and more every year. We can see it in competitions. That the first competitions I took part in, which was now also 6 years or so ago, we had a handful of competitors, and now we have to limit the number of competitors because we don't have the number of judges to get everybody there. Yeah. It's quite a logistic behind the championship. So it's getting more and more. Mm-hmm.
That's good.
And may I ask you a final question, which is not on the list? What was the last? Okay. Thank you. What was it in Japanese? Arigatou gozaimasu. What was the last coffee you had which absolutely surprised you?
That's a good question. Really hard. Last week I found the good Colombian coffee, but that is not expensive, really cheap.
Well, price doesn't always tell.
Yeah, okay. So I was surprised at the Colombian that is called Santuario. Santuario farm, and that is really cheap. The variety is yellow bourbon, and processing is they call gold washed process.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know the detail. But that taste was really like the herbal, like mint, peppermint, or yes. And at the same time, that taste really papaya, really sweet, and nectarine. So really sweet papaya and yellow peach or nectarine and mint. This is really strange, but really balanced. Yes, so yeah, maybe I will buy this green bean. So we will offer, we will sell this in near future.
And you have, if I may mention this, you just have your webpage online, as I saw, from Philocophea for international customers as well.
Yes. So
I had a look at the webpage. Well done.
I will send our coffee for you.
I hope there's a lot of orders coming from Austria. Thank you very much for doing this.
It is my pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.